Again, the big disease of the 21st century is that we give overemphasis to mind and lesser emphasis to heart. We talk of IQs. Now it is an old dated talk. In the 90s, it was talked about the IQs. At the turn of the millennium, they started a new quotient, and that is called the emotional quotient. From IQ, it shifted to EQ. Paradigm shift. Emotional quotient. Your IQ is, you think rationally, you talk purposefully, you act meaningfully, and you deal very effectively with the situation. That is your IQ. They say good IQs make good team heads. You can lead a good team. More than IQ is your EQ, emotional quotient. It's all about having empathy for others, where you know and you consider before taking a decision your own emotions and the emotions of the person before you jump to a conclusion. It is like knowing the whole picture before you jump to a conclusion. That is called your emotional quotient. And they say, the top management gurus, you read them, Jim Collins, Stephen Covey, Anthony Robbins, Ken Blanchard, Robin Smith, they all have come to recognize, accept, and propagate that those with higher EQs, they become leaders, not just team heads. Because when you learn to deal with people more than machines, when you keep on having increased trusts in people more than machines, not only you grow, people grow, the environment enriches around you. So those with IQ, they become team heads. Those with IQ plus EQ, they become leaders. And now, in the last decade, they have come to know that there is a very big important quotient, and that is called the spiritual quotient. A very good book I would suggest for all you professionals. I've read it 3 times. It's from the bottom of my heart for you today. If you have a piece of paper and pen, you can definitely write it down. The title of the book is Spiritual Intelligence. Why it matters more than IQ and EQ. The actual title is Spiritual Intelligence, the Ultimate Intelligence. Co-authored by Dr. Ian Marshall and Dr. Dana Zohar. In this book, they have surveyed more than about 3,000 successful people upon this earth. Successful not just in business. Successful as a businessman, as a father, as a husband, or as a wife, as a mother, as a brother, as a sister, as a neighbor, as a relative, as a friend. Successful in all walks of life, in all roles that a human being normally plays in his life. Long interviews with them, their past, present, studied well, and they have listed out that a person who has spiritual intelligence, how he stands out from people who have just IQs high or even IQs plus EQs high. Listed out 8 important aspects. I don't go into the details of it. I'll just list you out. People with high SQ, or if you want to develop a good SQ, the other way around, you need to work upon these 8 areas. The first is flexibility to change. The new Harvard definition of intelligence is, the more quicker you can adapt yourself to a change, you are intelligent. Many of us, we have mathematical intelligence, we are good at numbers, engineering, softwares. Many of them, we have concrete intelligence, we can deal with machines well. Many of us have social intelligence, we can interact with people well. But the best intelligence is flexibility to change. He survives. Second spiritual intelligence aspect is self-awareness. What am I? Where am I? What I'm supposed to do? What I'm talking? What I'm looking at? What I need to talk? Who are the people around me? Absolute self-aware person. He never makes a private or a public mistake. That is spiritual intelligence. Third, an ability to face and use suffering of life. Any suffering in your life, personal life, professional life, social or family life, that is part and parcel of life, isn't it? Because life is a package deal. As you give packages to your employees, life is a package deal from God. As your employees, they like 70% of your package deal and 30% is a compulsion. Even for you people. Your higher-ups giving you a good deal, 70% you like it and 30% is a compulsion. You don't like it, still you are supposed and forced to do it if you want to enjoy that 70%. In the same way, life is a package deal. It has its pluses and minuses. So, if you have or you develop a capacity to face your suffering with a smiling face and then use your suffering for your elevation. Now, this is something very important that I'm telling you. You should develop a neck. Some people have that neck to use their suffering for their own elevation. The top guy in the country, the top gentleman in the country has this neck. Anything thrown at him, he can use it and convert it into a giant vote bank. That is a neck. Anything thrown at him, he can convert it into in your corporate language, a big business, in his language, a big vote bank. That is a neck. An ability to face and use suffering. Fourth, an ability to be inspired by vision. You see something. Actually, we always see. We don't observe much. Here the word see is observe. You see something and you are inspired by it. The fifth aspect of spiritual intelligence is to see connection between diverse things. Diagonally opposite happenings, and you see a connection between them. That is very crucial to you solving problems at your workplace. The sixth aspect of spiritual intelligence is an ability to cause as little harm as possible to people and surroundings. How can I be more helpful? The seventh aspect is to ask and probe fundamental questions. Why, when, what, why, how, before you give in. And the last and the eighth aspect of spiritual intelligence is an ability to think and work against a convention. So these are the 8 aspects of spiritual intelligence, and rethinking your goals is to give more thinking and emphasis to these 8 aspects of life. You develop your SQ beyond your IQ and EQ for a great human life. So when you are deciding the goals of your life, take your IQ into consideration, take your EQ into consideration, take your SQ into consideration. Intelligent quotient, emotional quotient, and spiritual quotient. Now this is taught by the top class management gurus, top class social relationship gurus, and top class health gurus upon this earth. For this teaching, they charge you $500 a day. You are getting FOC now. Rethinking your goals in the intelligence sector.